There are no stupid questions. This is great material for another video. So, Dobby has asked me after he watched the live where I used MSF Venom to hack a Linux Mint virtual machine, creating a social engineering scenario. He said to me that this is a very much black hat oriented approach. And what I wanted to tell him is, and he's also asked me in a professional capacity, how would you use this? Well, a cybersecurity specialist, a penetration tester, a red team, an ethical hacker needs to be able to think like a cyber criminal. Because this way you can anticipate what the bad guys are going to do. Right? They know how to use this word. You know how to use this word. They use it to harm the innocent. You use it to protect the innocent, right? Avoiding jail and making money. This is the penetration testing execution standard. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 phases that you would use to approach a penetration testing engagement, which consists of having a server or a series of devices to test against. You try to prod them and try to hack them, and then at the end, you write a report documenting your findings, right? And the way that you go about and perform these tests, the methodology is very similar to what a black hat hacker will do. But the intention behind it is obviously very different. The pre-engagement is mainly communicating with the client. Now, if you're working as an employee, you will not do much of this. But if you're working as a freelancer, you will absolutely need to do this, because you will have to discuss the scope of the testing, what the attack surface will be. This is basically a laundry list of questions that you will have to ask to the client. How many internal IP addresses? How many external IP addresses? When and where should we perform the tests? And so on. What kind of tests? Physical penetration tests, we don't do them in Italy. It's mainly done in America. Then someone in the comments can confirm or disprove. If social engineering is implied, to answer your previous questions for business unit managers. Is the manager aware that the test is about to be performed? Questions like this. Then moving on, we have intelligence gathering, which one is passive and the other is active. Passive is looking for stuff on the internet, which is also known as an umbrella term for all of these techniques is called OSINT, open source intelligence, like you can see here, getting as much information as possible. Then passively. Then we have active information gathering, which is via tools like Nmap, the network mapper, where you go and prod the web servers trying to perform banner grabbing, that is getting what versions there are. And then once you do that, you move to the vulnerability analysis phase, where you try to understand if they might be vulnerable. Threat modeling is just a phase where you try to contextualize the type of vulnerabilities. There's this example that I always do, which is if you find credit card numbers, for example, on a banking website, it's obviously very problematic. But if there's a website or a platform that has actually fake credit card numbers because accountants practice their skills on those, obviously it's not as problematic as in the former case. This is important also for the final reporting phase, where you create context around vulnerabilities and give them a different score, of course. Yeah, physical penetration tests are not performed here in Italy. I don't think they're either performed in the rest of Northern Europe. I might be mistaken with the United Kingdom because the industry there is much more mature. So we talked about vulnerability analysis, trying to understand if the services are vulnerable or not. Then we have exploitation, which is the thing that we like the most. That is hacking the damn thing. And once we've hacked everything that could be hacked in the allotted time frame that we're given, usually, in my experience, we've always had 5 days to perform a penetration test, where the first 3 were dedicated to performing the actual test, and the last 2 to report writing, which is the most boring part of them all, but it's also the part that pays the bills. So it's important. Post-exploitation, it hasn't been very important in the past. In the past engagements that I did, but it's about performing privilege escalation, exfiltration of data. Sometimes it's not allowed to actually see any of the data, any of the company data. So it depends on what's been defined on the pre-engagement phase. So yeah, you might have to do privilege escalation, post-exploitation attacks, but it's not always the case. And then in the end, we have reporting, which basically deals with writing a report at the very end of the penetration test. Let me see if, oh yeah, I have one, but it's in Italian. I still have to translate it. No, wait, I think I have it in English. Nope, it's not in English. It's not in English. Yeah, no dice. I can give you an overview. There's an executive summary where you speak to the managers that don't know much about the technical aspects of information security. And then there's a second part where that's basically the technical analysis, where you have the CVSS scored, associated, and contextualized of the vulnerability. Alto means high. Then we have a description, a mitigation, and some external links. Then we have the proof that the vulnerability is actually there, with the payloads being sent, the commands being used, and the actual proof, which is usually demonstrated via screenshots, but I've seen in the past penetration tests that use actually videos. Now for the score rating systems, there are many, and I go much deeper in my Performing Professional Web Penetration Tests course, which is available in English. Link is in the description. You'll go from the very start, to the final writing phase of a penetration test, which is also a great resource if you want to get the OSCP certification by the Offensive Security Company. It'll shorten your learning time by a lot, by spending way less. And now, before I end the video, most of the penetration testing engagements that I have done in the past were actually basically web penetration tests. And the gold standard for this is the OWASP testing guide. It's been that way for more than 10 years at this point. Click on latest, nope. Click on release versions, then you click on the PDF here, and it's a list of about 93 tests. It's a checklist. It's a list of 93 tests that you'll have to perform against the attack surface, against the scope. Now, I delve very deep in one of my courses. They're all available on Teachable. I mean, this one specifically will become available on Teachable in a couple of months. which will be part of the InfoSec bundle. At the moment, you will only find the performing professional web penetration tests. Yeah, but yeah, it's a matter of reading all of this, internalizing it, and then you'll be ready to become a professional penetration tester at a very basic level, as a junior. I mean, it depends on what it's asked in America. I never took a look at this. Let's see. Adriano the Emperor. Oh, glad you like it, Master Phil. Your course certificate. Yeah, but the OSCP certification is basically in Europe. It's being asked by everyone at this point. It's a good idea to get it if you want to work as a penetration tester. As a penetration tester, as they say in England. Let's see what's there in America, in the United States. Threat hunter. This is more of a cybersecurity analyst position. Active threat analyst. Maybe we'll have more luck with red team. Senior red team. There you go. They're called red team in America. Certifications such as OSCP, Offensive Security Certified Professional, CEH, which is laughable. It's really not that great, or equivalent. OSCP and CEH are not equivalent. This is a kick in the butt. This is easy. It's not equivalent, but it's 6 figures. Of course, in America, salaries are always higher. There you go. Strong understanding of hacking methodologies, including social engineering. What did I tell you? They do social engineering in America. They don't do it here in Italy, in Europe. It's not done. Physical security tests. Now I want to go and live to America. Jesus Christ, this is so cool. Metasploit, Nmap, Burp Suite. What did I tell you? It's always Metasploit, Nmap, and Burp Suite. It's all you really need to perform a professional penetration test. And then Microsoft Word. Analytical mindset, 5 years of experience in penetration testing, modern development environments, containers, and CI/CD. It's basically DevOps and Docker. Yeah, Docker and DevOps. Kubernetes. Cloud native security challenges and solutions. Yeah, they want a web penetration tester that's really experienced with everything. They always want someone that's jack of all trades and master of all of them. Which, given the salary, I mean, it's not a bad idea. I could take this after the OSCP. After I take the OSCP, I could go for this. But I live something like 9,000 miles away from here. OSCP. This role is a remote opportunity, but it's always within the United States. So don't go start dreaming on me now. Python development skills. No, it's more a software development thing. OSCP. Everywhere you look, just take the OSCP. I developed the courses in the bundle InfoSec, in the InfoSec bundle, because I wanted to shorten the time of learning. Because if you spend $1,500 for 3 months, you're not gonna get the certificate, because you have to hack the entire lab and then do the exam. So most people will try the first time, fail, and then take the full year, which is $2,700. My course is much cheaper. You study with the course, the InfoSec bundle. You spend about a year with hack the box machines, the retired ones. And then you go for the 3 months of the OSCP. And then you're done. It also depends. If you're just starting out with IT, you're not going to become a penetration tester or ethical hacker in a year. Forget that. You must have at least some experience with either web development or Linux system administration. Either one of these. Because if you're just starting out and if you're basically not an IT guy, take into account 3 to 4 years, but you gotta really push. Study for something like 5-6 hours a day at a minimum, and then you'll be able to pull it off in 2 or 3 years. So that's everything for this video. Thanks for watching, everybody. I want to remind you that I'm online on Prime Red Empire. You'll find the link in the description. On Twitch. Subscribe for new videos. New courses will be available for sale. The entirety of the InfoSec bundle in the next 2 or 3 months, depending on the upcoming success of the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel. I mean, Teachable wants money, costs money to host courses there. So since we're at, we're about 100, 150, I want to get to 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers at least before I start translating and putting new courses on. So if you have questions, ask them in the YouTube comments, or send me an email, or you can come live and ask me questions. For the schedules, just check them online on Twitch, because we have different time zones. It's a mess. And that's everything. Thanks for watching and see you very soon. Ciao.